You're still watching the Ethiopia Business Morning. Welcome to Global Business, where we take a look at business news stories around the continent of Africa and indeed the rest of the world. My name is Ubong Kings. Here are the headlines making the rounds. We're starting up in Africa, where it's reported that Ethiopia has signed an $817 million US dollar currency swap deal. Airbus freezes hiring as it fights Chinese rivals. And still from the foreign scene, Total Energies teams with SSE, an electric vehicle charging company. We'll bring you details of this news stories and more right after this break. Please stay. You're watching Global Business right here on the Ethiopia Business Morning, and we begin from Africa, where it's reported that the central banks of the United Arab Emirates, UAE, and Ethiopia have formally established a bilateral currency swap agreement valued at up to 3 billion dirhams. Moreover, both central banks have also signed agreements to establish frameworks facilitating the use of local currencies for cross-border transactions and for integrating their payment and messaging systems. Earlier, Egypt also struck a $1.4 billion local currency swap agreement with the UAE in 2023. This development is to enhance financial and commercial cooperation between the UAE and Ethiopia by providing liquidity in local currencies to financial markets, thereby facilitating more efficient settlement of cross-border transactions. First, great story, but quite hard to relate to it, right? But let's start from the place of definition of terms, right? To better understand this story, what is a currency swap? Basically, a currency swap is an agreement in which two parties exchange the principal amount of a loan and the interest in one currency for the principal and interest in another currency. Key point. Now, at the inception of this swap, the equivalent principal amounts are exchanged at the spot rate. Now, what is all this grammar just simply means? It effectively means that at the end of the contract length, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4, maybe 5, the two parties will pay back the principal amounts that they owe each other. It's just simple. It's just that. Now, hopefully this works out for Ethiopia, because seeing that in a totally unrelated development, Nigerians are expected to pay as much as 640,000 naira for a grossly hiked UAE visa processing fee from as little as a little over 140,000 naira. Oh well, we hope this works out for them and that not be backstabbed later on, because we were celebrating that we now have Nigerians can now travel to the UAE freely, but to travel to the country, you have to pay as much as 640,000 naira. Not refundable, just so you know. Moving on to other business news stories making the rounds, and from the world of aerospace, it's reported that Airbus has recently announced that it would be halting hiring cycles as well as slashing costs as it fights a wave of cheaper airliners from China, which have also reduced its forecasted deliveries for this year from 800 jets to 770 jets. The Commercial Aircraft Corporation of China, COMAC, has been emerging as a potential rival to Airbus and is currently preparing itself to significantly ramp up its aircraft exports and cement itself as a major player in the international airline market. And this in turn has left Airbus making big moves to decrease costs per aircraft as well as increase productivity in other ways. Moreover, in an effort to do so, the company has already communicated to its employees that some roles may have to be cut, along with capping the total number of jobs and white-collar employees. However, a formal redundancy program would not be implemented. Now, here are some key takeaway points, really, from this particular story that I would like to highlight. Now, one is the fact that, yes, from the story, we already see that there are already plans on ground to halt hiring cycles in Airbus and slash costs. Now, all of this is stemming from one thing. It's stemming from the wave of cheaper airliners from China, which pretty much has reduced its has caused Airbus to reduce its forecasted deliveries for this year. Now, this shows another possible domination of China in the automobile manufacturing industry, specifically this time around in aerospace. Now, this means that apart from the relative dominance of electric vehicle vehicle manufacturing scene, occasioned by the huge subsidies made available by the Chinese government, there is a huge possibility that China is also eyeing the aerospace manufacturing industry. And as a result of this, the company Airbus has been forced to communicate to its employees that some roles may have to be cut, along with capping the total number of jobs and white-collar employees. Hopefully, China doesn't go under fresh sanctions again, because, I mean, the electric vehicle thing that they took dominance of, I mean, brought them under sanction by the European Union, isn't it? Well, I rest my case here. You're watching Global Business right here on the Afia Business Morning on Afia TV. You can kindly join in on this conversation and more on our new Afia Business YouTube channel. Kindly tap in the search bar www.youtube.com/@Afia Business. And while you're there, do well to like and subscribe for notifications on all business-related content. Coming up next will be more business news stories from the rest of the world right after this break. Stay tuned. You're welcome back to the Afia Business Morning right here on Afia TV, and you're still watching Global Business. Now to the rest of our stories, and we're moving on to other stories making the rounds from the world of the automobiles, where it's reported French oil giant Total Energies has announced that it is partnering with SSE, a UK-based power company, in order to launch an electric vehicle charging company called Source, which will operate in Britain and Ireland. However, the two companies will operate approximately 3,000 high-power charging points over the next 5 years, which will equate to 150 kilowatts or more, and will be distributed across 300 electric vehicle hubs. This move could significantly improve the UK and Ireland's progress towards green transition goals, as well as boost the adoption of electric vehicles across the countries, since charging point availability as well as the initial cost of an electric vehicle still remains key concerns for first-time buyers. This could also encourage companies and corporations to embrace electric vehicles fleets and provide financial support to employees who want to buy electric vehicles, such as electric vehicle salary sacrifice schemes. Now let's break something down real quickly for y'all to see. One is that this story to me is exciting. You know why? Just this week I talked about collaborations, mergers, and partnerships becoming mainstay in the business scene, and this is further buttressed by this story. Two, it's the fact that it is a collaboration along the lines of strategic positioning and relevant futuristic projection. Why do I say so? Let me tell you. Simple. In relation to the green energy drive and the net zero emissions target the world over, it is imperative that electric vehicle infrastructure be provided. Talking about that reminds me how much infrastructure has really been provided, as it were, in Nigeria for the proposed CNG initiative. Think about it. I rest my case. Moving on, and in an attempt to end this bulletin, let's begin to report that the British fashion house Burberry said goodbye to the CEO of 2 years, Jonathan Akinnoid, who, as it announced downward financial results, saying its quarterly performance is disappointing and warns it will miss annual profit forecasts, while Joshua Skolman, former boss of Michael Kors, Coach, and Jimmy Choo, would take over the helm as CEO and executive director. In the light of a downtown in the luxury market, Burberry shared a profit warning and was forced to axe its full-year dividend. The firm said that Akeroyd would step down with immediate effect by mutual agreement with its board. Although compared to other luxury brands, the British fashion house has been hit particularly hard by a depression in the high-end market driven by a slowdown in pandemic-era spending. Let's hold up very quickly and look at something very critical here. And you hardly hear things like this in the Nigerian business space, have you? Now, a case where the CEO is fired and the business ready to hire another CEO. Because as this story states, Burberry said goodbye to its CEO of 2 years in the person of Jonathan Akeroyd, and it announced downbeat financial results, basically saying its quarterly performance is pretty much disappointed. And frankly, if you ask me, this doesn't really happen in Nigeria, let's face it, okay? I mean, these are some things that don't happen in some climes, right? Now, the motivation for the goodbye, in quote, was a function of downbeat financial results, which to me is justifiable. I mean, what's the purpose of running a business? Exactly, to make profit. And if you're not making profit and you could figure what's causing it, please do something about it. And then, ask the question again, have you seen any Nigerian business that fired the CEO? If you did, please kindly share with me. I'd love to know. You may want to go to our new Afia Business YouTube channel and kindly type in the search bar www.youtube.com/@AfioBusiness and drop off a comment or two. And while you're there, do well to like and subscribe for notifications on all business related content right there on YouTube. And as they drop in, I will be sure to take them and share with the world. You're still watching the Afia Business Morning right here on Afia TV. Coming up next will be a conversation on the proliferation of airports in the southeastern part of Nigeria. How impactful or not is it to the growth of tourism in the state southeast and by extension revenue generation? The Afia Business Morning will be right back. My name is Ubong Kings. Stay tuned.